Okay, so some of you know me, some of you don't know me. So the practices that I teach are very therapeutic. We consider more than just the physical. We are always considering our emotional landscape, also our mental landscape, so that we don't put ourselves out of whack in any way. So I like to start just giving ourselves a bit of time to connect with all of those elements before we go forwards into the practice, so that we understand who we are on the mat right now and what that will mean as we go forwards. Do we need to change anything? Do we need to perhaps help ourselves settle in a little bit more, or consider some things going on in your life? You know, if you've got a lot going on emotionally, you're not really going to want to do a practice that is quite full on, okay? So that's just an example. So get yourself seated comfortably. We'll just do a little bit of gentle breath work to start us on our way. Sorry, let me just connect my microphone so it doesn't move around too much. There we go. Okay, so just sit on your sit bones, really finding a comfortable position. Cross legs if you want. You could also have your legs out in front with a bolster or yoga blocks underneath them, especially if you've got knee issues. Rest your hands somewhere, maybe on your knees or your lap. And if you want to, you can close your eyes down. And let your breath arrive and depart as it wants to. In and out through your nose. You can go out through your mouth. So if you feel a bit of tension inside yourself, tension build up, you know, releasing out through the mouth is a lovely way to get rid of tension. You know, when you think of being kind of frustrated, yeah, breathing out through the mouth is a lovely way to release tension. And as you're doing this, just connect with your physical body. Is there anywhere that you feel needs special attention today? Have you slept funny? Is your neck okay? Do you have an injury somewhere in your body you're looking after? So as you search through your body, you are just joining the dots, really understanding all of yourself before you start your practice. So if we also look at the mental body, our mind, how our mind is working this morning, I have no idea how your week has been. You know, it could have been filled with frustration. It could have been filled with love and connection. But, you know, all of this has an effect on our mind. So if your thoughts are free flowing at a pace that feels really acceptable, that would be nice. If your thoughts are fast and your thoughts are darting in different directions, it's a bit of an indicator that, you know, we need things to settle a bit more, perhaps. So this is what we're doing. We're doing a check-in. We're gauging our landscape, just understanding, do I need to perhaps put more effort into my practice physically or pull back? Do I need to breathe a bit more and have more presence? These are all the questions we can ask ourselves. Okay, so put your hands around your bottom ribs. We're going to breathe here, breathe into our lower ribs. So take your breath in through your nostrils, nice and long without pressure and too much effort, and breathe that breath deep down to your bottom ribs. And then breathe out and let that go. Relax your shoulders as you do that. And again, breathe in to the ribs. Really expand them. Exhale, let the breath go. And then another one. Fill in those lungs. And then empty in them. So release your hands. Continue the same place. Yeah, continue filling right down to your bottom ribs. Now, the thing about focusing on your breath in this way means that you are actually putting good breath into your lungs. What it means also is that you are not trying to take your breath down into your belly where it can't go physically. Your breath cannot go into your belly. So quite often when people invite a big belly breath, we don't get as much breath into the lungs because we push the diaphragm down and restrict the lungs, okay? So this breathing into your bottom ribs is a lovely way to get breath really into your lungs, into the lower lobes, and then it fills up from the bottom to the top. So anytime you need to put your hands there to remind yourself of that, by all means do. Otherwise, rest your hands down. And we're going to do 5 breaths and then we're going to get moving, okay? So an inhale and an exhale is 1 breath, okay? So take your time, breathe right deep down. Let the breath go. Notice how you breathe into your back really well as you do this. And you may be aware that you're breathing a bit more into your side ribs, into your armpits. And hopefully the breath feels quite deep and fulfilling. And that it's nourishing and providing energy. Wonderful. So that's probably around about 5 breaths. Okay, so just circle the head now, any direction, large or small. You'll know what your body is capable of. Often with funny crunchy noises, very common. And then when you're ready, switch directions. So you can map your breath to this movement. And again, just our last one here. Okay, and then we'll settle the head on top of the spine and then just lift the shoulders directly up to your ears and slowly release them down as you breathe out. Again, lift up, contract your muscles at the sides of your neck. And as you breathe out and let go, let those muscles soften. They suddenly get longer and loose. And again, we'll do 5 of these. This is 3. Breathe out through your mouth if you need to. 2 more. Hopefully this feels nice. Just what you need first thing this morning. Last one. Okay, let's make that movement bigger. So we take it up towards the ears, then back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together a little bit and let them drop down. Draw them up with the in-breath. Breathe out as they go back and down. And one more. Lift up, release back, Okay, just take a moment. You might need to do a little shimmy, shoulder shimmy. Okay, so we're going to lift up again and then bring the shoulders forwards. It feels awkward, yeah, and then roll them down a little bit so they settle underneath your armpits. Again, lift up, roll them forwards. You feel this a bit more in the back. You're stretching across the back of your shoulder blades. Lift up again, roll them forwards and down. Again, a little shimmy. And then release your arms to the sides of your hips. One arm, doesn't matter which, because we'll change. Take a breath in, lift that arm up, and then reach all the way over to the side. Sit bones stay down here. So if your side waist is feeling pulled, draw back, yeah? Reach up with an inhale, leaning over as you breathe out. And you might notice this goes all the way around the back. It's not just in the waist, it wraps around your waist from navel to spine. Two more. Breath in. Reach over, breathe out. And then we'll have this last one on this side. Inhale. Over you go. Breathe out. Bring that arm all the way up and down to the side. Fingertips on the ground here. Just take a moment to notice, does that side of your body feel a little bit longer? Most likely and hopefully, yeah, because you've stretched things out. So we'll equalize on the other side. Breathe in, the arm goes up, and then over you go, letting the breath go, letting tension go. Inhale again. Really bring yourself into the movement. Feeling those sit bones remaining grounded. And then we've got this last one. Inhale, reach and release. So remember, you're going to come up, fingertips to the floor, and just notice if that feels a bit more normal on each side. Okay, so we'll come on to hands and knees now. Obviously, if you need to pad your knees, by all means do. Just maybe with a cushion or a blanket like this, and just have the hands out in front. So we want to have the hands slightly forwards of our shoulders and knees underneath the hips. So this is the cat and cow pose. So we're going to instigate the movement always from the tail, okay? So from the tail, really draw forwards through your spine. You find the natural arch in your lower back. And you can lift your chin a little bit. I don't really advise really lifting it up because that affects the back of the neck. And now from your tail, turn it down and underneath you and let that trickle all the way up your spine to your chin. And your chin is tucked in. And then breath in again. From your tail to the back of your head. Tail again to the back of your head. Two more, three more, sorry. Breathe in. Really let the body find length here in your spine. You can have a little rocking back movement if you want. Breath, nice and long, spine nice and long. Last one. Okay, let the breath go. So from this arched position, draw back to your heels, leaving the hands exactly where they are. So you start to feel a stretch from the waist to the armpit, armpit to wrist. Lift your fingers, leaving your wrists on the ground. Up to you how much you put a downward pressure through your wrists. This will go into your shoulders. So just be mindful of that. If you've never done this before, it can feel a bit unusual. So you can by all means go in and out, and that would mean placing the fingertips down and then lifting the fingertips, leaving the wrists on the floor. Again, breathe into your back. Here you might notice your breath underneath your shoulder blades more than usual. A lovely opening there in that space that is often a very blind spot for many of us, purely because it is right behind us. We can't see it. And then from here, come up onto your hands, tuck your toes under, and we'll go to downward dog. So watch that when you go to downward dog, it isn't a push-up. So to avoid that, take your buttocks back to your heels, lift your knees, and take your hips in the air. By all means, a movement here. Maybe it's the heels down a little bit, like you're kind of walking your feet. Be a bit mindful of your calf muscles, hamstrings, and back. And then let's just settle and find out how our back feels this morning. So you can release your ears between your arms. You can, by all means, have a bend in your knees. I'm really keen on a bend in your knees in downward dog. It allows you to really lengthen your spine, which is the purpose of this pose. Relax the sides of your neck like we did at the very beginning. Notice how that invites your shoulder blades to soften. And then we shift into a different space in our practice. Less performative, much more presence. Anytime you need to go to your knees, by all means. Okay, take a breath in. Start to wiggle your tail a little bit here. You can exaggerate that if you want, or you can just do a tiny movement. It's up to you. Really nice to get a wiggle, side to side wiggle in the spine. Okay. Left leg forwards, right knee to the ground. Bring yourself up. And okay, take the right hand to the ground. If you need height, you can just bring something underneath the right hand, blocks, bolster, I don't know, maybe a dog, maybe a cat, and place that right hand down. So we're going to inhale, take the left arm up in the air, bring it into a twist here. So just have a moment in your mind, checking where the back of your head is in line with your tail. So we don't want this going diagonally across the mat. It'd be quite nice if it's more or less central down the center of your mat. Okay, so bring the hand down, breathe in. As it goes up, breathe out. And again, breath in and breathe out. One more, here we go. And down, releasing the hand to the floor, taking the knee back, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog, everybody. So in your own time, and in your downward dog this time, let's come high onto the toes, bend the knees, and kind of squat back a little bit, using our leg muscles here. Breathe in and exhale, drawing back. Again, a beautiful stretch around the sides of the body, down that side flank. Two more. Just a little bit of strength work. Last one. And then the right leg's going to come forwards, left knee to the floor. Okay, left hand stays there. Breathe in, the right arm this time coming up into a twist, and exhale, releasing down. Open and spin through your ribs. By all means, you can shift this front foot. You can turn the front toes out. Really do make yourself comfortable. Last one, inhale. Release down, exhale. Bring the right foot back, knees really wide here, okay? Toes are touching. Go back, but keep your head off the ground, okay? So you're making your back really long. Arms are outstretched. And then you're going to walk your hands all the way over to the right. So when you go to the right side, your left hand and arm are on the inside, okay? So this is the arm we're going to reach a little bit further, and that's to stretch through the left side of your body. So you can literally turn your ribs, your left ribs, down to the ground here if you want, depending on how much effort you are going to put into the practice this morning, considering all those landscapes, remember? And then you're going to come back through center, other side. Now it will be the right hand reaching further forwards, tilting the right ribs to the floor and breathing. And through the middle, coming back. Now I'm just going to grab my bolster to sit on. This is going to go through the legs. And then I'm going to come up. So anything that you fancy sitting on, just to help your back position here. But also, you know, if you've got dodgy knees, it's nice to be higher up. The crease in the knees is less. You can always put padding behind the knees and it keeps the kneecap open. Or you just put your legs out in front. It's absolutely fine. Okay. So we're going to breathe in, take the arms up, bring them down to halfway and cross them in front of us. So if we have the right arm on top of the left arm, bend your left elbow and then release your right elbow or right arm all the way into that left. So the bent one, okay? And this is really stretching across the top of the shoulder, may come even down the arm. It's a really nice way to work. Often in yoga, this is taught to pull this to you. I'm suggesting this arm, the top arm, right arm, push it away. Instead, it really changes how the muscles engage and what sensations you feel, okay? So we're going to tilt the left ear towards the left shoulder just to get into the side of the neck here as well. And breathe. As far as effort goes, with this, I think something well under 50% is more than enough, okay? One more breath. Let the head come back. Just let the arms drop onto your lap. Pause for a moment. Notice the charge that is still there in your body from the whole thing with the muscles working, stretching, yeah, your breath with your pose. And now we'll go to the other side. So we're going to take the arms up, bring them down to shoulder height. Now we're crossing and putting the left arm on top of the right. So bend your right elbow, that's underneath. And now your straight arm, which is your left arm, is pressing away from you and going towards your bent arm. So see how far you feel that sensation in your body, going from your fingers to the shoulder, around the back of the shoulders. And when you're ready, tilt the right ear towards the right shoulder, just to really release the side of the neck. It's a nice stretch. And here you may need to move in small movements with the neck to really ascertain where you need your head to be, where you need your chin to be. We're going to all be different here as to what we need. It depends on the muscles in the sides of the neck. Okay, I think we've held that long enough. One more breath. Release as you breathe out. Just unfold the hands, place them on your lap. Feel your shoulders drop. There's a real sense of that happening. It's that feeling coming through the body. Okay, so now we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Give yourself height underneath your sit bones if you need that. So you've got quite a space here between your legs. You really don't want to have the heels close in towards you. So hopefully you can be quite up on your sit bones, not slouching back. And this is a nice way to open the hips, especially if you press the soles of the feet together. And then you'll feel that all the way back to the hips. So hold the feet together, as in they're pressing together. So how much you do is obviously your choice. Lift up through your heart and in slow motion, without removing this sensation from heel to hip, you're gently folding forwards with a fairly flat back. That's the way you're going to get into your hip joint. The minute you arch your back, it's likely that you are falling back through your pelvis. I mean, if you place your hand on your pelvis at the back, where your sacrum is, that triangular bone, as you go forwards, you'll start to feel when the back curves. So it's before that that you want to stop. And when you find that stop place, still pressing the feet together, heels, and you're feeling all the way to the hips. When you get to the stop place, really think about the sternum, your chest and your chest bone, breastbone, and collarbones. Then think about taking them forwards. You may notice a different sensation in the middle of your back and also into your hip joints. Yeah, lovely, everybody. Breathe. And if you can maintain the feeling of engagement from the heels to the hips, by all means start to fold. And you can then start to curve your back, but you're remaining integrated in the pose here. You haven't kind of taken yourself off and out in a different direction. You're still within heels to hips. You can drop your head if you want to. Take a breath in, let the breath go. Use your hands on the ground here to push you up. That's a nice way not to pull on your back muscles, which isn't very nice. And then come back to seated. And we're where we started. It's amazing how fast 30 minutes goes. So just settle back into your sit bones. Do a little journey through your body, just noticing how the positioning of your head is, on your head above your neck above your shoulders. You know, maybe bring that in line. Might be side to side for you, might be front to back. And that encourages your spine to be nice and long. You're up on your sit bones. Let your breath be free. So again, return to breathing into your lower ribs. But dial this down now. We're not needing necessarily to raise the breath up like we do earlier in the morning, but dial it down so it's really in the middle of effort and ease. Sthira Sukha, we call this in yoga. And that comes from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Ease and comfort, presence and awareness, yin and yang. Okay, so we'll just close this practice, release the arms overhead as you breathe in, palms come together, and exhale, bring them down in front of your heart space. So allow yourself to thank your body for practicing, for moving, for remaining present. And take all of this goodness into your day and have a really lovely one. Thank you, everybody. Namaste. And yeah, look out for these. There's going to be more of them. Like I say, different practices, different times of the day, evening as well. And yeah, hope to see you again. Thank you for coming.